Welcome to Beyond the Darkness, a podcast by the Evie Effect. I am here today with Casey Muze. Casey, thank you for being on our podcast today.
I'm honored.
I'm honored to have you here.
Yeah.
We've been friends for how long now? Has it been like 4 years?
Man, I wanted to joke and say 63, but I think 4 years is good.
I'm not that old. I am not that old.
Neither am I.
Probably 4 years. We probably met 4 years ago.
I think so. 63 is just a really special number to me, but I think 4 is accurate.
Why? What's up with 63?
So there was a really significant time in my life where I understood numerology as a drummer and as a person who understands music in a deep level of science, right? And the number 6 and the number 3 just aligned with understanding transition and empowerment into the next portion of the transition of life.
Okay.
So 63 became my standout number. I put it on jerseys and t-shirts and sweatshirts, but it still is just very sentimental. So
that's
63.
Cool.
So now anytime anybody asks me a random word that a number is the answer, I say 63.
Okay.
And they're like, no,
no way.
Yeah, even the like little kids in the middle of drum line. How many cadences are we going to write this year?
63. So you are a drummer, a therapist, a mentor, a mental health advocate, a supporter, a friend.
Yes.
Tell us about, you have a mentorship for young men.
I do.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So this thing is called Crowned and Called, and it's really near and dear to my heart. So the story behind it is pretty long-standing and testimonial for my life. So this actually goes back pretty deep. So I'm going to tell you about the name Muze.
Okay.
As we dive into this, right?
Because it's not your birth name.
It's not.
But it's fun.
But it's also not a name that I gave myself. Right?
Okay.
It's not a me giving myself this nickname. It's inspired by other people. So I have, over the time of my life, had 6 really special mentors to me that claimed me as a mentee individually, not knowing about one another, right? And I lived in Dallas, Texas in a season where I was going through depression and anxiety and my own mental health struggles of trying to figure out what this thing was about, right? Mm-hmm. And each one of them would call me randomly, just casually. They would be like, Muse or La Muse or The Mused or A Mused One, right? And just different sections of that, right? And when I moved back to East Texas and transitioned then to Nacogdoches, Texas from Longview, Texas, which is deep East Texas from East Texas, right? I sat on my bed one day and I began to process, and then something inspired me to look up Muse and what it meant. They always spelt it with a Z, so therefore like that's the reason for the Z, right? And I looked it up and I was like, what the mess? It's like I looked up once. It's like, how did they see that in me? Because it means the inspirer, the motivator, right? And a bunch of synonyms of that. And I was like, that is not. I said, maybe they see something different, because I was starting this thing called Star Avenue CO, which is now known as Avenue Speak, and more is identified and just more with intention now, right? As things are over the span of life.
So they were seeing something that you weren't seeing in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy is I called one of them, the one that I talked to the most, and he was like, good, now go live it. And then the next time I talked to either one of them was the same day. I talked to all 6 of them at one time. They all called me individually, and then they said, let's have a Zoom. I Zoom called all of them, and they all 6 said the same thing. They said, good, now go live it.
Wow.
And I was stuck in the middle of trying to figure out what to do with that.
Like, okay, but how?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, what does that look like?
What's next?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
How does that fit with me, right?
Right.
What did they see that allows me to give myself motivation to continue on living that? But even that, it's like, what the hell does it even mean, right?
Yeah.
And by in honor of them, like Muse became a thing, right? And transition life, because that was like, this has been like 12 years ago, right?
Okay.
Or 10-ish years ago, right? Transition life later, my heart for mentorship was really cool about those six is then at that point, because they all became aware of each other, they met and still meet to this day in a boardroom in the back of a church at a circle table in Longview, Texas, and talk about what I'm going to do. And they call me every single month, and I say yes to everything that they say.
Wow.
And so with
Did you
respect
tell them you're
to,
coming on my podcast?
I did. And so with respect to
Nice.
them and everything that they say and all the positions and all the places and all of the permissions that I give them and they give me in my life and in their life, I stuck with Muse and then honoring mentorship and menteeship, right? Crowned and called exist in a very spiritual place and a very spiritual directive admiration of me to them and whomever I mentor after that. So it sits in a place of serving young adult male and older adolescent males to give them spiritual fortitude as well as direction of what do I do when I wake up in the morning to attack these dreams and to attack freedom of cultural or social expectation that is false, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Oh,
Right.
it absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure on kids in general, but I think for males it's unique because they're expected to hold in their emotions, hold in their mental health issues, not talk about it, not ask for help, not advocate for themselves. They're just supposed to suck it up and deal with it and be okay.
Yeah.
And I think that society has taught men to be that way. And I love that you're doing something to change that.
Yeah. And I love it. So what's really cool about it is we have the conference in the end of July every single year, right? And then we also have the series that exist in between time for individual stewardship outside of the group social interaction. So yeah, no, it's cool. We had the first one this year, this past July, and it was fantastic. We had 14 kids there, right? It was cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be helping us this November
Yeah.
with our retreat for
Yeah.
women who have lost someone to suicide. Tell us what that's going to look like. Give us a little
Yeah.
teaser of what you're going to.
That is going to be a really cool presentation called the Pulse of Healing. And the Pulse of Healing is understanding and processing memories and knowing what emotions are attached to each memory, but also what you do with that. And how do you find who to talk to about that? How do you ask for help? Also, how you receive help, how you process it. And yeah, it's going to be deep.
And
It's healing, freeing, liberation. It also is going to be a little painful, but that's okay too.
Yeah. Sometimes life is painful.
Yeah.
And you've had your own painful struggles.
Yeah.
You
And
want to talk about it?
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's really brave of you.
Yeah.
Was it like 2 years ago? I got a call in the middle of the night.
It was about 2 years. Yeah, it was 2023, about 2 years ago, either in July or in August. I actually still have the wristband.
Do you?
I do. And I will probably get it framed and put it on my wall because it was pretty monumental, short period of time, but monumental. So the event that she's talking about is post me being fired from a career that I served in for 10 years of a job here in Tyler, Texas. And I'm not going to give too much detail because then you'll figure out
Yeah, we don't need to.
what job it was and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And people will have their
It's not about the
opinions.
job. It's about you and your
Yeah.
experience.
And we ain't got time for people to form opinions that are false and for no reason whatsoever. But I went through the struggle of getting fired and trying to figure out what to do. And another connected dynamic of that is trying to figure out what to do and how to serve my girlfriend, who is now my wife, as a man. And that was a struggle within the struggle. Right. And I was really blessed to have her at the same time because I don't really know that I would have felt comfortable automatically calling her right after I got fired if she did not create that space of safety. Right.
Right.
But in the midst of trying to figure out what to do, what job to have, what job applications do I fill out, man, I sat on Indeed and all the things and just struggled. And I think I've called her several times to say I filled out like 20 job applications today. I had like 5 interviews today, right? And it got to the point that I was even filling out job applications and having conversations about roofing estimates. Let me tell you the really significant thing about that is I have the flattest feet documented by...
You do. It's true.
They're so flat by 2 podiatrist offices in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
I cannot successfully walk. I cannot successfully walk down a hallway sometimes without stumbling over my feet.
You know, you're not supposed to be on a roof.
No, I'm not even supposed to be on a ladder to even attempt to be on a roof, right?
No.
Yeah, like I got in the car at the one estimate house. Like I went on a ride along, Jessica. What the hell? Right.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna walk slow, but I'm like, but then that's gonna cut into... I was all in my feelings, right?
It was not for you.
Not, but I was gonna go back the second day. It was all of in my... I didn't make it to the second day. I'll tell you what happened why I didn't make it to the second day. I was all in my feelings, right? And I was just trying to figure out. And then the dude brought out the ladder when we got to the first house on the ride along. I was scared out of my mind because I was like, I got to climb up this ladder, figure out how to transition to get up to this roof without tripping and falling on my back or falling on my... Man, I went through all the scenarios, right? And I think this is really... I actually think this is the first time that I've talked about any of this in public. I don't even think my wife knows about some of these. My mom doesn't know about any of these. And those are the 2 most important women in my life, right?
Yeah. And we haven't talked about it since it happened.
No. And you were there.
I was.
Like, I'll tell you, in the moment that Jessica was there, it was like a party in the hospital. It was wild.
There was a lot of support there for you.
There was a lot of people and a lot of support. Like, forever grateful for everybody that showed up. So I got home and wanted to go to sleep, literally so that I could wake up in the morning and try to figure out how I was going to climb on a roof the next day. I didn't make it because I got home and took an edible.
Mm-hmm.
I took one edible, did not feel sleepy. I took another edible because I did not feel sleepy. I took another edible because I did not. I think in total, I took about 6 edibles and woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, throwing my gut up.
And paralyzed.
Mm-hmm. I think I managed to stand up and walk with a total of like 1 time to the hallway and then back to my bed, sat in my bed and threw up a bowl of just puke and mucus. And somehow it managed to stay there and just coagulate and become just sticky and just solidify. And I remember just looking at it and I was like, I don't even remember what I thought at that point in time. It was wild. But I could not move. I was absolutely paralyzed. Like I just could not. And it was insane. And I picked up the phone and called the closest name in my head, which was this guy named Ben, who somehow managed to, when I walked out of the hospital room or into the hospital waiting room, because my next move from Ben's instruction was to call 911. And my front door was locked, dead bolted. They broke in the lock,
Mm-hmm.
came in, got me. My dog, Honey, was scared out of her mind. And you can tell the look in her face was absolutely full of fear, which made me full of fear because that's my child, right? And I was butt naked. And they took me to the hospital. And at that point in time, I remember any time they put me in the MRI and shoved me in, I have a little bit of claustrophobia in my older age. And so every single time they put me in the MRI machine, I screamed. I said, get me out, get me out, get me out, right?
Yeah.
And my experience there was just not the greatest. A lot of social dynamics there, right? And it was just wild.
There's a maybe you don't know what was happening behind the scenes because Ben called me and Mike and we all thought you were having a medical issue because you were paralyzed, and we called the ambulance. I'm the one that called the ambulance to come to your house. We hunted down your address and called the ambulance to go to your house
I said, I didn't know that.
and met it
Yeah.
at the hospital.
Yeah. I had no clue. This is the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how we ended up there.
That's insane. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
So they give you an MRI. You didn't tell them you had taken gummies,
No,
edibles.
I didn't think to tell him.
No.
No.
And they did an MRI. They were trying for hours to figure out what's wrong with you. And then slowly they let us come see you. And you and I were in there alone.
Yeah.
Talking.
Yeah. And I remember telling you that I don't remember if I said I think I had committed, was trying to, or I don't remember exactly what I said. And in all honesty,
I do.
I know, and I'm gonna let you tell it. I think in all honesty, I was scared and trying to figure out how I felt or what it was. I mean, because in truth, I didn't, and I didn't want to leave anywhere. I was just absolutely beside myself trying to figure things out in my head, right? But I will let you share what I said because it's a piece to the puzzle.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, I remember sitting next to you, holding your hand and just saying, what can I do? And I just sat there with you and you just looked at me and you said, Jessica, I can't say it wasn't a suicide attempt. And my heart I just stopped breathing for a minute. And I asked you for permission to tell the doctor so they could get you proper help because they needed all the information because they were doing all these tests that they didn't need to do. And I said, well, what did you do? You told me that it was an overdose.
Yeah.
And you let me talk to them. And I'm grateful for that. So they could do the proper test at that point, right?
Yeah.
And that had to be so scary for you. And I'm so grateful that you trusted me in that moment. I'm so incredibly grateful that you're still here.
Wow.
Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling your story.
Yeah, just yes. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful for you for somehow figuring out where I live and tracking down my address and advocating for me in places that I did not even know you did. And I'm grateful for your husband for just, you guys have been ride or die since we've met. It's wild.
We love you. You're you're an important part of our life. You're an important part of this community. And I'm really grateful you're still here and that you're my friend. I'm proud to call you my friend.
Yeah. I get to the lobby
Yeah.
and there's like,
Dizzle, you checked yourself out.
I did. I did.
You didn't let them keep you. You checked
No,
yourself
I
out.
didn't. But
Which
well,
was terrifying to all of us, by the way.
well, there's a reason why I did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know of that reason why I did. The medical staff were rude as hell to me.
Mm.
They were inappropriate with me. They did not create space for my emotional needs at that point in time, and were not listening to my comfort space.
Okay.
And so there were statements thrown around of a space of non-empathy because I had overdosed and yada yada yada, and so I was being treated as a drug addict of statements.
Instead of someone having a mental health crisis.
Yes. And so it got to the point to where it was a race issue, and it got really bad. If those things were not present, that wouldn't have not happened.
Man, I'm sorry that happened to you.
So, I mean, that's a part that is a part of that story. So the reason why I said I still have that wristband is because that is a monumental portion of my life, right?
Right.
Now, the funny thing about it is I think I told somebody about it. Well, I actually think it was my wife. And my wife said, "Do they not know you're Casey Muze?"
Do you know who he is?
I think I think I told Uriah, because Uriah was there, and
Yeah.
Uriah said, "Bro, do they not know you're Casey Muze?" Which is so funny.
They
But
didn't.
no, they didn't. No. But yeah. So no, I checked out, and because of those things, and my girlfriend drove me home. And fun fact, my dog, right? My girlfriend made sure that she went home like 3 or 4 times and checked on my dog, because that's our child. That's how close she is to us. And I say that because like she recently passed away. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook.
I didn't see
So
that. I'm so sorry.
yeah, I mean, listen, that she's 18 years old when she passed. That's a long life. She's been with me for her whole entire life. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
So you decided to check out of the hospital, but check back into life.
But start the process to check back into life.
Right. But you took those steps.
Yeah. I have things to do.
Yeah, you do. Big things.
I have things to do, and I have to take care of myself before I start those things. I decided to move slowly, but yeah. I think the first thing I mean, my mom was called at some point in time, which is a whole nother portion of the story.
Yeah.
And Patricia and my girlfriend, who is now my wife, dealt with my mom and all those conversations, which was rough.
And it's been a journey. But look at you now. Like thriving, right? You feel
Sure.
like you're thriving?
Sure. I mean, I feel like I am living in a really successful place as someone who has reached a lot of space of growth from that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thriving, sure. I don't know that I use that word a lot, but yeah. Shout out to, I'm going to say flourishing. Shout out to Patricia.
Your bestie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say that word as an
Yeah.
homage to her.
as we wrap up, what is something that you would like to tell the people listening if they are struggling like you were? What's your message to them?
I'm trying to find the accurate words to say. I would say, please don't be afraid to move slowly in your reintegration into life. I say that because a lot of times we decide to jump back in head first and we don't take care of ourselves. We decide to go
Yeah.
back to work. We
Hmm.
decide to jump back into this conversation and that relationship. We haven't allowed ourselves to gain footing, to get fortitude, right?
Hmm.
And that is so much more harmful than it is good. The second thing that I would say is be careful who you have around you. I think that's it.
Yeah. Kind of like the people around you and what they're saying and how they're acting and
Hmm.
what you're watching and listening to plays a huge part in how your brain feels
Yeah.
and your heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for your story and your bravery and your trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have something for you. We want you to have this Beyond the Darkness bottle
Oh, that's
to
crazy.
remind you to
Yeah.
stay in the light.
That's cool. Yeah, of course, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks,
This is
Casey.
super cool. Yeah, thank
We're
you.
going to put some resources at the end of this episode and also ways that you can connect with Casey for his services, his mentorship, Avenue Speak, all things Casey
Mhm.
Muze.
Drumming, cognitive rhythm therapy, all
Yes,
those things.
all
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah.
So, this has been Beyond the Darkness. I am Jessica Domingos, and Casey Muze is here with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Darkness. And just a reminder that your story belongs here.